The original Beetlejuice is one of those movies we used to see constantly playing on cable on the TNT channel. As kids, we was either paying full attention to Beetlejuice or it was just playing in the background while we was involved with family dinners or just doing stuff with friends. Now, when I tell you older folks love Beetlejuice, they love this movie. And I get it, right? Tim Burton was very popular at the time, and the first Beetlejuice was so good, it led to him making Batman 1989. Speaking of Batman 1989, Beetlejuice was Michael Keaton's second most popular role we regular folks mostly know him from. So now we have returned 35 years later, or for most of us, now being introduced to the continuation of this very popular property like Beetlejuice, with now the Gen Z and the generation coming up, Gen Alpha, being a part of it. The one thing that always worries me when it comes to movie studios bringing back old properties for the sequel is if it's going to feel authentic enough. Obviously, all the properties studios make are for money, but will the sequel at least be good? Will Beetlejuice 24 AD be a Top Gun Maverick or a Space Jam Legacy? Beetlejuice sequel, I can say is neither of those, but I can say I had a really good time with this movie. The first thing I recognize with the Beetlejuice sequel is that Tim Burton still has the vision for his movies. Tim Burton's world and movies are usually fantastical, but it's very dark in terms of how it looks and the meaning behind how he creates these characters. I just realized today that when we're in the spirit world, that the way the people die in the movie is how they'll look in the spirit world. That blew my mind because I thought all this time, especially when I was a child, that those were just monsters. I loved that Burton was using animation for certain scenes in the movie, because I'll just say he used claymation. Burton definitely was inspired by one of his old movies, The Nightmare Before Christmas, and it's just really good. I like that Burton also used practical effects with CGI, obviously, to make the world authentic. Burton basically updated Beetlejuice with the practical effects, technology, and still was able to incorporate what he has done for the original Beetlejuice. The cast for the Beetlejuice sequel was perfect, and everyone in some shape or form just fits into this wacky and dark world Burton has created. Obviously, the original cast is really good. We have Michael Keaton returning as Beetlejuice, and he hasn't lost a step playing that role. Keaton was still this obnoxious, disgusting, and fourth wall breaking Beetlejuice that we've all are familiar with from the original. Winona Ryder was good as Lita. Winona plays it a little bit different as her character is now hosting a TV show based on discovering ghosts. Also, Lita's going through a PTSD episode from the original Beetlejuice after everything she's been going through in that movie. Also, Kevin O'Hara, the mom, was still funny as she was in the original movie. Then we have the new cast members who are perfect for this Beetlejuice movie sequel. Jenna Ortega as Lita's daughter Astrid, perfect. Ortega has this deadpan, I'm sick of everybody type of vibe in this movie, and it works. Willem Dafoe is in this movie as this new character, Wolf Jackson, and all I'll say is perfect. Justin Thorax, who played in The Leftovers, was very funny as this oblivious gold-digging manager for Lydia. The whole cast made the movie really fun to watch. As much as I had fun with how well crafted the Beetlejuice sequel is, and the whole cast being amazing, it could have been better. In the Beetlejuice sequel, we have to follow 3 plots in the whole movie, which is Riona's character Lydia getting over her fear of Beetlejuice coming back, Astrid grieving for her father's death, Catherine O'Hara's plot, which I can't say because it's a spoiler, and Beetlejuice trying to stay away from this soul-sucking demon Dolores, who wants revenge on Beetlejuice for some reason, and is played by Monica Bellucci. Now, as you hear me list all those plots together, you know it's a lot that Tim Burton has to go over. Burton did what he could to put it together, but it just made each of the plots that presented in Beetlejuice a little weak. If you're an OG, then the first movie, Lydia and her overcoming her past from the first movie, that will be good for you. But for me, I would rather stay with Astrid's storyline and talk about the father more. In the movie, we rarely see Astrid's father, and you try to be invested, but for me personally, it didn't really do much. Also, Beetlejuice plot is interesting to talk about with his origins and how he's connected to Dolores, but it really didn't do much for me either. And Dolores was a weak antagonist. I'm sorry. She didn't really do much for me. Overall, I had a good time with this new Beetlejuice sequel. If you're a fan of the original Beetlejuice movie, it does justice to translate that and more in the sequel. Again, the world of Beetlejuice just feels like its own with Tim Burton's direction, Danny Elfman's score, and the amazing cast that they brought in for this movie. It's not one of the best spirited sequels that will blow your mind, but it's definitely not the worst. This is a movie for the whole family to watch, especially during Halloween. I could see kids or whatever watching this movie on streaming and are just having a good time watching this movie.